Hey, what's going on, guys? Richie Fix here, back with another video, and, well, today's the day. It didn't take long. We get the big Storm Collectibles booth tour, so we get a closer look at all the big reveals that we saw yesterday, and, well, I'm excited to show you guys, because I don't think you're going to be disappointed. Let's go. Taking a look at the first photo here, and this was the big guy, the one I was the most excited for. But before we even get started with that, I want to give a big shout out to Mr. Lee. Link to his Instagram is going to be in the description below. Highly recommend checking out his page. He's got a lot of cool figure photography. He is currently at Capcom Cup, and that's where all the photos from today's video are going to be from. So again, shout out to Mr. Lee. Make sure you guys go give him a follow on the Instagram. So taking a look here, and this is Sagat. I mean, the body itself, I can't tell. It looks exactly like the traditional Storm Collectibles one that we had seen. However, the forearms and the fists might be a little bit bigger, but that's just the render that they have in the Street Fighter Alpha 3 game. So that's not anything like out of the usual or anything, but that's just how he's presented in that game. However, the head sculpt is definitely different. You can tell his head gets a little narrower at the top, which is definitely in likeness to the game that, you know, how he's portrayed in the Street Fighter Alpha 3 game. I mean, it's Sagat. It's cool no matter what, but it's not my favorite design of Sagat. I definitely like the SF2 version, but I mean, regardless, this figure is absolutely my #1 most anticipated figure of the year. Because I love the Storm Collectibles one so much, this is now at the top of my list, and I'm hoping this releases this year, as we don't currently have any information on any of the new figures outside of Ken, Ryu, and Baki. These are all up on the air as far as when they could release. I'm hoping it's this year, but looking at it, I mean, it's not really close compared to Jada's got a entirely different style than what Storm is doing. Now, I mean, it's like looking at, like, Jada is more like a Marvel Legends looking one, but this to me almost looks import. But I can assume that this one is not going to be the $26 price tag. With the bigger figures, they do come with a little bit of a bigger price tag. I would probably say this is going to be anywhere from 30 to 40 bucks. If it was 45, I'd be hell. If it was 50, if it got any higher than 50, then we're getting way too out of the realm and being comparative to Jada. But I would think if it stayed in the $30 to $40 range, I think it would be perfect. And it absolutely turned out insane. Like, it's just a different look to Sagat, and it gives him like a whole new different type of looking of evil. So, I mean, it turned out phenomenal. And again, seeing it from afar, I thought it looked great. And now seeing the head sculpt and everything up close, #1 for most anticipated of the figure of the year, assuming that it releases this year. Let's take a look at the next photo here. In all his pink gi glory, we have Dan. And to me, this is an easy choice by Storm. I mean, it's just a quick retool of a head sculpt and some different stuff with the gi and the coloring and the paint to make a Dan figure compared to the Ryu and Ken. And it looks, I mean, they haven't missed yet. Everything's looking phenomenal. It looks of Storm quality in a 6-inch line. I mean, I don't know how anybody's really going to be able to compete with this. I mean, Jada is obviously the #1 competitors. They're the ones making the most similar figures to Storm Arena, but their look and style is completely different to what Storm does. So I definitely think this is going to make people, and like I said, it's not a competition. It's not going to be which side are you on, Jada or Storm. You can be on both sides. You can definitely pick and choose. But I could see if they ended up getting very consistent with this line, I wouldn't be shocked because of the quality and the, you know, the sculpts themselves. If people started leaning a little bit more towards Storm, like I said, they have a long way to go to win over their fan base and make sure that this is the way. I mean, I got to see the consistency. We've talked about that. But Dan, the little banglet, the pinky, looks phenomenal. No release date yet, but I'm waiting on it. The next Street Fighter figure that we have here for Storm Arena is going to be Chun-Li. Now, this is very interesting. Now, this is, I'm talking stage 1 of figure production. She's got absolutely nothing as far as articulate. She is, I mean, she's a statue at this point. You can tell there's no joints, there's nothing there, not a lot of paint. This is stage 1 of a figure process, folks. But I can see what they were trying to do. They want you to see that they are already working on these characters and give you at least that visual image of what she could potentially look like in figure form. But I wouldn't put a lot of, I wouldn't put a lot of emphasis on this figure because we're talking there's not a lot of paint. There are absolutely no joints to be found whatsoever. This is really just the scale model of what the Chun-Li is going to be looking like. So again, I wouldn't be too harsh. I mean, I wouldn't be harsh at all on it. This is like probably right out of the factory. They probably got it done just in time to get it to this event. But the fact that they got her there means, I mean, she's underway. But I would think if it gets released at all this year, it wouldn't be till late November, early December. Taking a look at the next photo here, you have Morgan and Lilith from Darkstalkers, and I actually thought this figure on the left, Morgan, was the traditional Storm Collectibles figure, because I think it was only a couple months ago that she started hitting the shelves for the traditional Storm line, and no, this is actually both Storm Arena. So very cool for this Darkstalker fans that you guys are already getting characters. How far, I mean, she looks like she's almost done, but I mean, there's been plenty of times Jada's put out their figures, and we think they look close to final production, and, they're months and months away. So when a pre-order comes, time will only tell, but I'm excited for the Darkstalker fans. Will I'll be all in on Darkstalker? I don't know. It looks, I'm interested for sure, but yeah, I can't believe they already have 2 characters going. That's... I mean, they're on a roll right now. Now, this is going to be the traditional Storm Collectibles scaling moving forward. I'll kind of go over what the difference of those are here in the final wrap-up. But this is going to be Cody and Mike Hager. I'm going to go with Hager, or Hagar. This is the traditional Storm Collectibles line. It does say on the little name tags in front of each figure which line they're going to be a part of, and these 2 figures did say Storm Collectibles and did not say Storm Arena. I know there was some confusion and some speculation on which line they were going to be a part of, and in the video, which again, go check out Mr. Lee's Instagram for the full booth video, you can see that these are going to be part of the Storm Collectibles line. But regardless, I mean, the scaling, the sculpting, everything is up to Storm quality. They look great. I know you guys are super excited about it, as I got about 1,000 comments verifying these guys' names yesterday, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that there was only one idiot out there that totally roasted me for not knowing the names, but you guys all helped out. I thought that was really cool, you guys. But regardless, I'll be in on these guys. They look super cool, and they'll fit right in with the Street Fighter characters. Coming up to our last photo here, I am not going to cover the M. Bison or the Zangief just because they already have final promotional pictures out there that you guys can go check out. So if you want to check those out, you can just go to Storm Collectibles and you can see the final rendering for the Zangief. They don't have it for the M. Bison, but there's already like a promotional shot of what that figure is going to look like out there. So I didn't know that it'd be really worth your time to really go into any type of expansion on those 2 figures. But this one right here does need our attention because this figure, I don't think people are going to really grasp how big this figure is going to be again until they get it in hand, because this figure towers over that Street Fighter 6 Zangief, and that figure's probably got to be close to 9.5 inches. This figure is going to be damn near 11 inches tall. However, this is the traditional Storm Collectible scaling, so it's not supposed to mix in with the Storm Arena or anything. I mean, you could definitely do that if you wanted to, but this does go back to like the older Storm Collectible scaling where it's going to fit in with like the BLANKA, the older Sagat and things like that. But I mean, the sculpt, the size is going to be insane. I'm curious on the price tag. I wouldn't be shocked if this thing was like $150 to $170 with how big it's going to be. But, I mean, regardless of what it is, you already need to mark me down for one of them because it's going to be too epic not to get it. But, guys, that's going to be all the pictures. I just kind of chose the best shots from the video. So, that's what you saw here. We're going to go ahead, talk about everything, and do a final wrap-up, and that's it. Wrapping everything up, I am going to have Mr. Lee's video from his Instagram playing here in the background so you kind of get to see a little bit of everything. Again, shout out to Mr. Lee. Go check out his Instagram. Link to his Instagram will be in the description below. A lot of great figure photography is at CAPCOM Cup. Make sure you give him a follow. Also, quick little plug for me, I have just recently started my own Instagram. Now, I'm going to be doing figure photography, updates on when my new videos go live, and just, different information regarding action figure news. If you guys would give me a follow, that would also be greatly appreciated. Yeah, I mean, Storm Collectibles, they are on a roll. They are on fire in 2025. It's very impressive. I mean, they are totally recreating they're reinventing themselves, if you will, where the figures are the same, but the process, the consistency is what is changing here. And it's truly impressive. I mean, they have been just everywhere as far as 2025. And I get a lot of questions on what the difference is between Storm Collectibles and Storm Arena. Just to quickly cover this again, Storm Collectibles is their bigger scale figures. When Storm Collectibles first started, they were considered 1/12 scale. However, that quickly got out of hand, and then the figures ended up being 7 inches. The bigger characters were like 9, 10 inches. I mean, T-Hawk will damn near be 11 inches. So Storm Collectibles traditional line is just their bigger scaling action figures. Now, Storm Arena is their true 6-inch figure line. So you can see on the little displays there, some say Storm Arena, some say Storm Collectibles. That'll let you know which ones are part of the true 6-inch figure line in Storm Arena. And the Storm Collectible ones are going to just be that slightly bigger scaling. And I say slightly, like Zangief is like a 9.5-inch figure, and that T-Hawk there being part of the traditional Storm Collectibles line, they are going to be, I mean, they're big figures. Now, there is difference in pricing where Storm Collectibles, their figures tend to be about anywhere from $90 to $130. That T-Hawk could be damn near $150 to $170 just on how big he's going to be, where Storm Arena is going to be your Marvel Legends Jada pricing, and they have been traditionally only $26. And I say traditionally because Sagat being a bigger figure, I'm expecting to have him be a bigger price tag, as Jada's Sagat was going to be a little bit more expensive. They went from 25 to 30 with their bigger characters. I would think that Storm Arena, to stay competitive with Jada, needs to make this Sagat figure in the $30 to $40 realm. Any higher than that, you're getting kind of out of that comparison realm where it's like, yeah, we get that they're a premium figure, but Jada is still the cheaper, where if they can still stay that close with Jada in pricing, I mean, these sculpts are looking just way good, like very good, like import level at freaking Marvel Legend prices is very impressive. The only thing, like I said, I stay calm and collected because these figures look almost done. We've seen Jada have an entire roster done at San Diego Comic-Con, and then the figures don't release for months and months and months later. Like that Morgan figure, the Sagat figure, the Dan figure, they almost look like they're in their final production, but it could be months until we actually see those figures. Hell, it might not even be this year. But you get excited when you see colored figures with articulation. They just look like they're ready to go. Except for that Chun-Li. That thing might as well be a statue at this point. But I was impressed that they were willing to at least show her, even though they had not even gotten started on articulation, paint, shading. I mean, she's painted, but that's not what she's going to look like in a final production. She's going to have shading. She's going to have lipstick, makeup, all that kind of stuff. But that is going to be the difference there. So Storm Collectibles is the bigger price tag, a little bit bigger scaling, where Storm Arena is going to be your more price conscious and true 6-inch figure scale. I apologize for those that have heard me say that 1,000 times, but I still get people all the time that say Storm's too expensive. What's the difference between the two? All that kind of stuff. And, I forget that there are new people all the time watching these videos. So I have no problem repeating it. I just feel bad for some of the guys that have heard me say this stuff 1,000 times. But hey, I try to accommodate to all the viewers. So other than that, guys, I mean, like I said, I'm excited for what they're doing. It just comes down to the execution. I'm not going to go into all that because I said all that yesterday. If they can get the figures in the hands, they're going to, I've seen a lot of people already say that these things are looking so good that, if they can execute, they'd be off the Jada train over to the Storm train. But again, Storm just doesn't have the track record to really support that yet. And I say yet because they've been super consistent this year. They're definitely starting to make me a believer, but like I said, we've seen pretty toys at cons before, and then they just don't execute. So once I start seeing the figures show up at my doorstep, we're seeing more pre-orders, things like that. Like I said, for me, Storm to be, in my opinion, for them to be a success with the Storm Arena line this year, I need to see at least 5 figures. 5 or 4 figures, and especially the Sagat figure this year. If they can get a couple more figures outside of the Ryu, Ken, and Baki, whether that's Dan, whether that's the Sagat, whether that's these Darkstalker figures, whatever it is, I just got to see more, because that lets me know that they've bumped things up, they're smoothing out all the cracks, and that they mean business. But other than that, guys, let me know what your thoughts are. You've seen a great presentation here at Capcom Cup, and we're not too far away from San Diego Comic-Con. Here it is, March. We got April, May, June, and 3.5 months. I mean, we're right at San Diego. It goes fast. You'll blink, you'll miss it, and all of a sudden we're in July and we're at San Diego Comic-Con. It goes fast, folks. So here we are. We're underway, and I have to say right now, the most anticipated figure of the year so far right now for me is absolutely that Sagat. Even though the styling is more catered to the Alpha 3, well, obviously, because that's what the source material is based off of, I like the head sculpt better on the other one, but, it maybe knocks down the point from a 10 to a 9.8. I mean, we're talking, I just don't like how it kind of turns into a cone head on that in the game, but it's whatever. It's such a small thing. I'll get over it, I promise. That figure looks absolutely insane along with the rest of these. But I've talked too much. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Again, go check out Mr. Lee's Instagram. Check out my Instagram. If you guys could leave this video a like, subscribe if you're new. I'll see you on the next one. Richie Figs. Later.
JUHN.